Hello and welcome to this day's first edition of Superfast 50, the top 50 stories we're tracking at this hour. I'm Rukma with you. Let's begin. After Nagaland, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is set to sound the poll bugle in Meghalaya, as he will be visiting the state today to address two election rallies in capital Shillong. BJP state unit to hold a demonstration and a candlelight vigil today against the recent murder of an army man in Krishnagiri district. In a statement, BJP state unit President K. Annamalai alleges that the law and order situation has been deteriorating in the state and the offences committed by the ruling party's members are on the rise. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde calls for National Executive Working Committee meeting today. According to sources, the meeting will happen at 7 p.m. in Taj President. All MLAs, MPs and National Executive members have been asked to attend the meeting. It's yet another big blow to former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray as MLA Kailash Patil and MP Om Raje Nimbalkar from his faction celebrate Shivaji Jayanti with Chief Minister Shinde camp and Minister Tanaji Sawant. Uddhav in complete panic mode after losing, says Election Commission should be dissolved. The Supreme Court denies an urgent hearing of a plea by Uddhav Thackeray faction challenging the Election Commission's move to allot the party name Shiv Sena and the symbol of bow and arrow to the faction led by Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with rescue teams that conducted Operation Dost in Turkey and Syria. Meanwhile, lauding the NDRF and other forces as part of the operation, the Prime Minister called it the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
तुर्की में भूकंप के बाद आप सभी जितनी जल्दी वहां पहुंचे, इसने पूरे विश्व का ध्यान आपकी ओर खींचा है। ये आपकी प्रिपेयर्डनेस को दिखाता है, आपकी ट्रेनिंग की कुशलता को दिखाता है। पूरे 10 दिनों तक जिस प्रकार आपने पूरी निष्ठा से वहां हर चुनौती का सामना करते हुए काम किया, वो वाकई प्रेरणादायक है।
PM Modi further said that India will not stop here. The efforts by the NDRF team has paved the way for India to strengthen its identity as the world's best rescue operation team. Congress spokesperson Pawan Khera is in the news again for remarks against the Prime Minister. During a Congress press briefing on the Adani Hindenburg row, the party's spokesperson Pawan Khera referred to the Prime Minister as Narendra Gautam Das Modi. However, later clarified that he was genuinely confused about the Prime Minister's middle name. Union Home Minister Amit Shah lashed out at Congress over Pawan Khera's remarks on Prime Minister Modi. Addressing a rally in Nagaland, Amit Shah said the derogatory remarks against the Prime Minister by the Congress would be better replied to by the people of this country.
मित्रों, कांग्रेस पार्टी समग्र नॉर्थ ईस्ट के अंदर मार्जिनलाइज हो चुकी है। पूरे देश के अंदर कांग्रेस पार्टी को कहीं पर भी सफलता नहीं मिल रही है, मगर मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति के लिए और सार्वजनिक जीवन के स्तर के लिए जो लोग चिंता करते हैं, वो सभी के लिए चिंता का विषय है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Singaporean counterpart Lee Hsien Loong will witness the launch of cross-border connectivity between the Unified Payments of India and PayNow of Singapore today via video conferencing. In other news, a senior citizen tried to self-immolate in front of the collector's office in Chennai yesterday. On being asked about the reason, he claimed he has been living in a house in the oil mill area in Chennai for nearly 50 years now. He now alleges that some people have taken over the property and are threatening to evict him. PMLA court sends M. Shiv Shankar, former Principal Secretary to the Kerala CMO, to 4 days of ED custody in the Life Mission scam case. Shiv Shankar will be further produced in the court on the 25th of February. Massive face-off erupts between the TDP and YSRCP members after TDP office is vandalized. TDP leaders claim the attack was carried out by YSRCP followers. Meanwhile, an investigation is underway into the incident. Former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and TDP National President Chandrababu Naidu demands governor's intervention into alleged atrocities by ruling YSRCP leaders. In a horrific incident, a woman principal of a private college in Indore in Madhya Pradesh is critically injured after an ex-student allegedly poured petrol on her and set her ablaze. According to police, the 24-year-old accused from neighbouring Ujjain has been held and is being interrogated. In a shocking incident, female lady was attacked by armed men in Punjab's Firozpur in broad daylight. The video shows 4 to 5 armed men attacking the woman returning from court after a hearing in Firozpur. The victim sustained head injuries and was shifted to hospital. In a big setback for Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, Upendra Kushwaha quit the Janata Dal and resigned from all party posts yesterday. The leader has now apparently launched a new party. The decision comes ahead of the crucial 2024 polls. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit out at JDU for the collapse of the party. As BJP leader Ravi Shankar said, it is time for Nitish to concentrate on fighting taking place in his own home. Bharatiya Janata Party's Minority Morcha is to start a Muslim outreach program across the country from the 10th of March. As part of the program, 14 states have been identified in the first phase, in which there are Jammu and Kashmir, Delhi, Goa and among others. The Enforcement Directorate conducts searches at multiple locations in Chhattisgarh, including at premises linked to Congress party leaders, as part of an ongoing investigation into the coal levy money laundering case. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel's Deputy Secretary Soumya Chaurasia and alleged kingpin of the scam Suryakant Tiwari, along with several others involved, have been taken into custody now. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh reacted to the raids carried out by the ED against Congress leaders in Chhattisgarh. He said the raids acted as a booster dose for the party and was motivating them to become more aggressive towards Prime Minister Modi's vendetta politics.
Have increased our determination. If anything, these raids have given us a booster dose to be even more aggressive against the Prime Minister and his third-rate politics of vengeance, vendetta, harassment.
NCPCR Chief Priyank Kanungo wrote to the Haryana DGP as well as to the Rajasthan DGP over a complaint against police personnel for their alleged involvement in forcibly entering the home of a family, physically assaulting them, resulting in the death of a child in the mother's womb in Nuh in Haryana. Haryana police have formed an S.I.T to probe allegations of negligence against its crime investigation agency team of Firozpur Chirka in connection with the Bhiwani incident, where the charred bodies of 2 men from Rajasthan were found in an abandoned car recently. Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi and AAP leader Manish Sisodia has said the CBI has called him for questioning on the 26th of February now. He had requested the CBI to defer the date of his summons to finalize the Union Territory's budget after he was called by the agency yesterday. INS Sumedha arrived at Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates to participate in the Naval Defence Exhibition and International Defence Exhibition, scheduled from the 20th to the 24th of February 2023. The first G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting under India's G20 presidency is scheduled to be held from the 24th to the 25th of February in Bengaluru. The meeting will be jointly chaired by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is set to pay a two-day visit to India on Saturday. During his visit, the Chancellor Scholz will hold discussions with Prime Minister Modi in bilateral, regional and global issues. The two leaders will also interact with CEOs and business leaders. Scholz will call on President Murmu as well. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan appeared before the Lahore High Court yesterday in a case linked to violent protests outside the Election Commission. Imran Khan was granted 1 week's protective bail by the Lahore High Court yesterday, amidst high drama inside the court premises where hundreds of his supporters converged to show their solidarity with him. Another quake of magnitude 6.4 on the Richter scale jolted Turkey yesterday, following which there are reports of more collapsed buildings in both Turkey and Syria. In a shocker from Texas in the United States, 3 teenage girls, including one who was pregnant, were fatally shot by a man who was sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl, who later escaped, then fatally shot himself. US President Joe Biden made an unannounced trip to the Ukrainian capital Kiev yesterday ahead of the first anniversary of the full-scale Russian invasion that began on the 24th of February last year. President Biden's visit was shrouded in secrecy. He was due to leave for an announced visit to Poland from Washington. Speaking about his unprecedented visit, President Joe Biden tweeted, and I quote, "I'm in Kyiv today to meet with President Zelensky and reaffirm our unwavering commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty and territorial integrity."
And all Ukrainians, Mr. President, remind the world every single day what the meaning of the word courage is. All sectors of your economy, all walks of all life. It's astounding. Astounding. Remind us that freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes. And that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President, for as long as it takes.
President Joe Biden, who is in Ukraine, announced more defense aid for the war-torn nation and said Ukraine will get a new U.S. military and aid package worth $500 million.
Putin thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided. As you know, Mr. President, I said to you in the beginning, he's counting on us not sticking together. He was counting on the inability to keep NATO united. He was counting on us not to be able to bring in others on the side of Ukraine. He thought he could outlast us. I don't think he's thinking that right now.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida announced a new $5.5 billion financial aid for Ukraine and will mark the first anniversary of the war by hosting an online Group of 7 summit with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Thousands protest outside Israel's parliament ahead of legislation reform first readings at the Knesset. Protesters were hoisting flags, blowing horns and chanting democracy and no to dictatorship during the rally. Top Chinese diplomat Wang Yi is due to arrive in Moscow to discuss Beijing's tentative plan to resolve the Ukraine conflict, having last week insisted that China was on the side of peace and security. North Korea fires 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the sea east of the country in its second test launch in 3 days, prompting Japan to request an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. The launches continue a tit-for-tat exchange. In response to North Korea's initial ICBM launch, the United States and South Korea had scrambled to conduct a joint aerial drill involving Seoul's F-35A, F-15K and US F-16 fighters, escorted by American B-1B bombers in a defiant posture against increasingly belligerent North Korea. And on to sports now. India beat Ireland by 5 runs in the Duckworth-Lewis method in a rain-affected match at St. George's Park on Monday. Smriti Mandhana's 87 formed the backbone of the Indian effort. The 2020 finalists demonstrated their dominance, dismissing 2 important Ireland batters in the opening over. With winning Monday's match, Team India secured their place in semi-finals of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. India became the 3rd team to book a place in the Women's T20 World Cup 2023 semi-finals after they edged out Ireland by the DLS method at St. George's Park. Australian coach Andrew McDonnell has said he is confident the team has enough leaders within to fill the void left by Pat Cummins' brief departure back home to attend to some personal problems. Australia suffered a shocking batting collapse in an hour's play in the Delhi Test on Sunday and lost the game by 6 wickets. In a huge blow to the visiting Australian team, which has already conceded the Border Gavaskar Trophy to India after the ongoing 2-0 down in the ongoing Test series, pacer Josh Hazlewood has been ruled out of the entire series with an Achilles complaint. Former India seamer Venkatesh Prasad fired a fresh salvo at struggling Indian opener KL Rahul for his inconsistent performance in the longest format of the game, pointing out the batter's modest overseas record. The Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Goa will host the Indian Super League final in March. On the 18th of March, Mumbai City Football Club, Hyderabad Football Club, ATK Mohan Bagan, Bengaluru FC and Kerala Blasters FC have already qualified for the playoffs, with Odisha Football Club and Football Club Goa still in the fray. Jason Tatum put on a record-setting show. Tatum scored an all-star game record, 55 points on his way to winning MVP honors, and Team Giannis ended LeBron James's hold on all-star captain supremacy, beating Team LeBron 184-175 in the NBA's annual showcase exhibition on Sunday night. The nominations for the 2023 LAUREUS World Sports Awards have been announced. This year, the ceremony will celebrate not only athletes who thrill sports fans of the previous 12 months, but several who will end their careers with a claim to be the greatest in the history of their sport. Canada's women's soccer players reiterated their call for equal pay following a 2-0 win over Brazil at the She Believes Cup. Canada is in the midst of a labour dispute with its federation. Vanessa Gilles and Evelyn Viens each scored for Canada in a 2-0 victory over Brazil in the She Believes Cup. Gilles scored on a header in the 31st minute to give Canada the lead. It was her 3rd international goal.